founder and CEO of Eveland.
Eveland.
And we're going to talk, and you're going to talk about opportunities for real estate businesses in the Metaverse. Okay. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Simon. Hi, everybody. Like everybody else, I want to introduce myself first. I've been in the newspaper industry for many, many years. Was in the newspaper industry. Actually started at 11 in that industry, and some people say, "What? Yeah." Well, I actually have a photo to prove it. This is me at the inauguration of our building on August 1st, 1975. The short guy in the middle is the president of the Dominican Republic. And the guys around him are my uncle and my grandfather. I've created 12 companies in my life. And the last one, thanks to COVID, is Eveland, which is what we describe as a business metaverse. And I'm not going to go deeply into it right now because I'll do it later, but just to say that there are, oops, there we go, multiple use cases in multiple industries. And of course, in the real estate industry being one of them. But now that you know a little about me, I want to know a little about you, okay? So how about if you raise your hand if you have a crypto wallet? Okay, good numbers. Have you ever been on the Metaverse? Okay. Is your company thinking about Web3 and how to use Web3 technologies to enhance your business? Less. Okay. Well, now we know each other. Let's talk about the Metaverse. This guy, Neil Stephenson, was the one who defined the term Metaverse 30 years ago in a book called Snow Crash. It was a very dystopian definition. You know, he thought that humanity was doomed and, you know, all we could do was connect to this system and actually play around. This year, he changed that definition to the Metaverse is an evolution of our online lives, and it's a graduation to 2D and 3D worlds in which we fluidly create, explore, socialize, and transact. And he's doing now, he just launched a company called Lamina One, which is looking to be kind of the operating system of the Metaverse. Okay, so that right now, as you'll see, there's Metaverses all over the place, and they don't talk to each other. Right? So that's a big, big challenge for all the industry. But according to McKinsey, the opportunity is humongous. They're talking $4 to $5 trillion by 2030 in just about any industry that you can think of. So certainly merits a lot of attention from everybody, as it is getting. So let's talk about evolution, since that's how the first word that Stephenson defines for the Metaverse. And it's an evolution from Web 1 to Web 3. Web 1, we call it the publishing web. We discovered HTML and the capacity to connect documents and to distribute them. On Web 2, social media kicked in, and the public was actually given the opportunity to become that publisher and to share and connect with other users. Now, Web 3, which is the one that we're going into now, and it's about 10 years old, since Bitcoin was created, the white paper in 2009 by Satoshi Nakamoto, who nobody knows who he is the ownership web. Because through the tools of Web3, you can own assets, monetize those assets, and basically transfer them, send them to other people. In order to do that, there's a huge tech stack that is behind it. That starts basically with the network layer. In other words, the blockchains. Last I heard, about 18 blockchains exist today. And again, interoperability is the biggest issue. There are things called bridges where you can connect tokens and share different documents and talk from one network to the other. But then that's where all the different other layers come in. And the second one being the interaction layer with those blockchains. And then you have the presentation layer, all the technology that you use to create all these virtual worlds, to create what is on top, which is the decentralized apps. And that's one very big aspect about Web3, which is decentralization. That's like kind of the big word that defines it as well. So, 2D and 3D worlds. What are the biggest metaverses today? Obviously, MetaQuest. They've spent $10 billion, still haven't been able to put legs on the things, right? But he promised them for some time soon. They're kind of the laughingstock of the market right now because they're spending so much money. And by the way, I brought some, for those who don't know, haven't been in a metaverse, I bought some Oculus. And if you want to see them, I'll be around all day. I'm happy to let you use them. There's Roblox. Roblox is actually a humongous place with millions and millions of users. And actually, it was a concert that had like 20 million users attending that concert on Roblox. But it is very gaming focused, and it is a 2D world. Then there's Decentraland, which is probably the most valued property. Who knows what their monthly unique users are? Monthly active users, 56,000. They're worth $1.3 billion, okay? So do the math. The other day, somebody did the math comparing it to Twitter, and it is like 10,000 times more valuable than Twitter on a per user basis. Then there's TheSandbox. TheSandbox is actually the big guy, and they're doing a lot of deals. They're owned by Animoca Brands. They're doing a lot of deals with huge brands, with Universal. They just did a huge deal to put all of their artists there. Obviously, you see Atari there, and multiple others. Then there's Sommium Space. That's another one. They also, one of the characteristics is they sell land. And here's a list. This is by mention. So this is not necessarily the way that they've structured this graphic is by mentions on social media and on different websites. But you see Animoca Brands, they owned the Sandbox. They're at the last place because they don't get mentioned that much. The Sandbox does. So talk about creating. The Metaverse has, and the whole blockchain space has generated a tremendous creativity. This is a sample of a gallery on our Metaverse. But this is the latest news from the industry. And this is the Reddit NFT collection. And they just broke the market. NFTs, the graphic for NFTs was like this, and then it dropped, right? But now it went boom, up again. These guys, in 2 days, they sold out millions and millions and millions of dollars on this thing. But actually, the numbers are actually a lot bigger. Ape Club, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, has generated $4.3 billion worth of transactions with their NFTs and their land. And this is in a year. Okay? And then there's quite a few others. But actually, Reddit surpassed, if you go to OpenSea, you're going to see that Reddit surpassed Cyberpunks as the highest turnover NFT in the entire collection. So amazing what it happened in a day, basically. It's not a day, again. They've been at it for a while. In terms of Explore, the Metaverse can be accessed through multiple things, but everybody expects that it's basically through goggles. These are the goggles today. As you can see, they're bulky. And the ones who want to see the Oculus, it's, I can't hold it for more than 30 minutes. But they're going to come like this. And this is a year away, 2 years away. And pricing is going to come dramatically down. Okay? Today, Facebook dominates the market without a doubt. But there's several other Chinese manufacturers coming online. In terms of socialization, I ran this event, my annual family gathering. I did it on our Metaverse. And I brought 150 family members from 10 different cities to meet, which otherwise wouldn't have been able to do so. Okay, so a lot of socialization can happen on the Metaverse. And of course, the transactions. Again, the Bored Ape Yacht Club is the king. This is real estate sales on the Metaverse, okay? Not the sale of real estate on the Metaverse, but real estate sales of Metaverse properties. $800 million on the little monkey. So don't underestimate the monkey. Decentraland, almost $450 million worth of sales, and so on and so forth. So a huge market in terms of. Now, in terms of what is expected, and this is a graphic that shows how the projected use of AR and VR is going to be among youth, which of course is going to be a lot more than on the older crowd. This is 2025, but 40% of people in Saudi Arabia are going to be using AR and VR to make any regular transaction. So obviously this is going forward at a big speed. But what are the biggest hurdles? Well, data privacy and security, the interoperability that we talked about, the lack of trust in the whole system, and those need to be dealt with. So let me go to opportunities in real estate. Number one, sell properties as NFTs. In other words, convert the property into a non-fungible token and sell that token. There's many, many hurdles in that space, but this is what an NFT transaction looks like, okay? This guy sold a house for $214,000. You have the address of the seller, the buyer, the address of the seller, the contract, which tells you what that transaction would look like, and they've already sold 3 of them. So it's happening. The use of crypto assets to buy properties. So this site is basically listing the properties in Bitcoin, and you can pay for them using your Bitcoin. And that's a big opportunity because there's a lot of billions of dollars in crypto assets today that don't have much to do with. In design and construction, Ferrovial has something called the Intraverse. And it's a room-size metaverse, literally room-size, where you go in and you see a complete road, 200-mile-long road, with every nook and cranny, every bridge, and you can actually drive around that road like you were in the real world, and they use it to build roads. Fractional ownership, we're going to hear about one of these guys later. I think, no, they're not coming, sorry. the bottom one, I think that they're coming. Vivla? Yes. They'll be, I think, tomorrow. They're doing fractional ownership. So they're breaking a property in different pieces and letting you invest only a piece of it. Are they going to be disrupting timeshares? Or obviously the other parts, the realty guys, they're doing it at the investment level to disrupt our ITs. Then there's sales channel, and the guys from Floorfee, which come after me, they're doing 3D, and they can do live video conferences, so you can take your client through the 3D presentation of the property, and of course, that increases the potential of transaction. And last but not least is lead generation, which is what you do today. This QR code will take you to a sample of an event we're running using our brand, our property brand in Costa Rica, and I'll show you now how it looks like. Basically, this is the entrance. It is a 2D, works on the phone, and this is the reception where you place, obviously banners. So what we built basically is a 2D repository and a CMS on the back to manage all the content on that repository. You can do live events. You can do concurrent live events. So you could have multiple auditoriums and have multiple, like you would do in any conference. And you can then host all of the sponsors like they're doing right here in the venue. And they have, you can give them their own booth where they manage the content. They can put videos, and they can do, obviously, interact with the users. So why is that important? Because obviously you're generating a direct contact. The realtor is there receiving the potential buyer and talking to them on a one-to-one basis. Now, the other thing that we're doing that in the jobs site, is that we're creating these sites for our clients. So, and now we're going to be doing it in real estate, which is realtors who want to have their own show, and they can create their own venue, and they can have launching of projects or whatever. And of course, very important, the education component of the whole process, which is you educate your consumer and you bring him in. And so, I got 1 second left. And basically, take out your phones, because if you log in to our Miami venue, which is our headquarters, everybody who logs in, we will raffle one venue. Our venues are NFTs, so you will own the venue. You'll be able to run multiple events on that venue and basically use it as ever you want. Thank you very much.
Send through your questions if you have any, and here we go. Let's start with this one. Which is the application of this technology in real estate world that has impressed you most? And we realise we're at, the previous slide we saw, we're at the Model T Ford. We are way before, we're still on bicycles or something, right? In the evolution. So, but what have you to date seen, something that's impressed you most?
Of the things that I've saw, I mean, there's, in terms of Metaverse, there's people actually who are creating marketplaces for Metaverse properties themselves. So they're taking the whole concept of property portals and putting it on the Metaverse, and that's I think,
is this a Metaverse for like physical land?
No.
A Metaverse for the...
digital land.
Digital land, like other land?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or the multiple others.
Yes. Okay. But what do you think's got the best chance of, what's the from where we are today, what's the best use case for this?
Well,
for maximizing the
that question that came up is actually one of the DAOs. If you think about the REITs, the investment in properties, today you invest in a rate and you don't have control of how that is managed.
Explain what a decentralized.
DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. It's basically a group of smart contracts that say how an organization is managed based on what happens, right? So you can generate votes, and depending on what the votes and your weight in that organization. So if you invest in a rate and you have more money in it, you have more weight in that rate, and then your vote is worth more than others.
So basically the way to think about it is that if you're owning NFTs from one group, like the monkeys, the bored apes, or the mutant ones, you have a vote in the outcome of what happens around it.
And that's the big thing in the whole space is involving the community in the decisions that are made for the company itself. And actually, Decentraland is a huge DAO, and they have like 7 layers of different organizations and different decision-making groups in order to manage the company.
Yeah. So it's like any company being run by its shareholders without a board. Basically. Right. So you can imagine that creates opportunity
and
creates nightmares on the other side. Okay. Does a blockchain contract for real estate have legal power?
That's a good question. A smart contract obviously has, it's finite. I mean, once it does what it does, it's printed on the blockchain, that it is there. So yes, it has legal power because it is printed on the network. Obviously, you have to decide what you want to write into that smart contract and how it operates. But yes, I would say, of course, it has legal.
Okay. And people are starting to use it today for real estate type transactions. We were going to have Nash 21 present, but the CEO had to go to San Francisco to talk to his VC. But I met with him on the weekend, and they are writing rental contracts on the blockchain. Okay, which then allows for for you to sell your rental contract, for you to sell part of your rental contract, and opens up a whole range of other interesting opportunities. And it's just an NFT.
Most likely as an NFT, yeah.
It is an NFT. Okay, and you can sell it on OpenSea, or you can sell it on their own site, and so on, and trade it at the end of the day. Yeah. So it creates these very interesting opportunities on how to get into the real estate transaction.
It also happens with the fractional property, because if you buy a fraction of a property, you buy it as an NFT, the attractiveness of it is that you can buy it and sell it. You can,
Yes.
you know. You
There
can
are markets today. There are
Exactly.
marketplaces for the NFTs.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the main barriers to enter the metaverse today? E.g., becoming a RE company in the metaverse.
Well, it's basically understanding that tech stack that you saw there. For me, it's been a challenge. We have our regular platform, which actually runs on our servers, and then you have to connect that to the blockchain. And it's a learning process. The best thing you can do is hire some good technical people who are fluent in, and there's two languages, Solidity and Rust. And they're divided. There's a group of blockchains that is on Rust, the other one is on Solidity. So it's basically understanding, knowing about economics. Tokenomics is a huge thing. How do you manage your assets and deploy them on the different blockchains?
Yep. Adoption of tokenization for real estate transactions seems slow. Why?
Because of local regulation. I mean, in order to buy a property, you need to write it into the into the local laws and the whole part of the.
But even in the rental space, it's a slow adoption, and that's where there's less need to worry about all those legal requirements.
I guess it's a matter of speeding it up.
Is this a case of, going back to your very first picture, that here we are, like we're like a room of newspaper people, and you're talking to me about a property portal, right, in 2020.
Exactly.
Okay? And I'm sitting there as a newspaper guy back in 1990, and I'm going, what the fuck are you talking about, right?
And you were saying it's going to happen.
And you're going to say it's going to happen, it's going to fundamentally change your business. In fact, you as a newspaper with classifieds are going to cease to exist in 30 years, 25 years, 20 years. And they're going to look at you go, yeah, but I don't have to pay attention to it now, right? Because it's too far away. And I have a feeling that, when you say who's got a wallet and, half a dozen hands goes up, and who's got NFTs and a few hands go up and so on, right? It's I think it's the same situation playing out again. Mm-hmm. We're just taking what took evolution over a long time, we're now making it shorter and shorter. And Web 3.0, I think, is incredibly important to understand, which is why at these future conferences I'm trying to get more and more NFT guys, crypto guys.
Well, maybe we can do NFT
guys.
ticketing for the next one.
We can do, well, give me a break, right? We'll see how we get there, right? I want people to turn up, because it's the fundamental challenge is if you don't have a wallet, you don't understand how it works, and you're not comfortable with it.
I spent the most time educating my shareholders, my clients, on starting from the basics. Download a wallet, connect the network. Okay, I received it. Yeah, you received it. Here we go. Very basic stuff.
But my word of advice is understand this stuff. It is absolutely coming. There is money galore being pushed into this. You go to the US, Miami in particular, and there are conference after conference. They do blockchain week, month, NFT month, blockchain month, and so on, where they just talk about these topics. Yes, it's a lot of the nerds at the moment. And
let me tell you, I've been to a few crypto conferences lately, and the smallest one, 5,000 people. Yep. In Paris, in New York was 15,000 people. Yeah. So
invest time understanding this, finding an application, because I guarantee you in 5 years' time, you'll all have some sort of digital wallet. You'll all have multiple currencies, not just US dollars and euros and so on, but you will have your Ethereum and whatever, right, in there as well, and you will be trading between them. Okay?
And what we're saying is start small, use events as a door in, and start educating your staff and your clients.
Yeah. Rafael, thanks very much.
Thank you.
I love this, and good luck with building this out.